That SADC says 1 in 4 South African employees had been diagnosed with depression. Bipolar and psychotic disorders such as schizophrenia have also become common in the workplace. Now employers have to make an effort and create a conducive environment for their staff. Morning Live producer Refilwe Senatle compiled this report for us.
Depression in the workplace is on the rise, and employers are battling to manage it. They also have to deal with the stigmatization of employees suffering from it. Tarryn Mason is Managing Director of Progression. The organization assists people with disabilities to integrate them in the workplace. They also guide managers on how to support their staff members who are suffering from a mental illness.
Well, mental illness, according to the definition on it in the Employment Equity Act, is a condition that is either long-term or reoccurring. For example, bipolar, it's not that the person experiences the same condition continuously, they have their ups and downs, or like epilepsy, the person isn't always having a seizure every moment of every day, that happens sporadically.
What are the signs that employers should look out for?
I think we can start seeing it from when the person's, and it's not always performance related, it also can be behavioral, so when they're not behaving in their norm, or the performance is lacking. But it doesn't necessarily mean that we just go straight to a poor performance management process.
And how do you think employers should protect their subordinates from stigma within the workplace of having to deal with the fact that they have a mental illness?
Well, if you look at confidentiality and disclosure, it's quite important within the workplace. Nobody needs to know the name or the nature of the person's disability that they have disclosed of. However, it is important that for a manager or the HR team just to know how to support you, not necessarily that why they're supporting you.
Today, we spent the afternoon with Julian Turner, who suffered from mood swings and anxiety since childhood. He always sensed that something was wrong, but was always afraid to address it. And only at the age of 52 was he diagnosed with bipolar disorder. How did it impact you in the workplace, knowing that now you're suffering from bipolar?
Yes, well, I found that I had to use tricks, little tricks that I had to hide this away from people. Because when you have a debilitating illness like this, you don't realize that you've got it, but you realize that some days you're down and other days you're feeling fine. And I had to try and be seen to be consistent. So it affects your confidence.
Things became too hard for him, and suicide was the only answer.
On that day, I knew the day had arrived, and I knew the place that I was going to go and take my life. And that place was Kloof Gorge in KwaZulu-Natal. So that day I walked out of our management meeting at my organization. I got in my car. I cried every single tear that I had inside me. And then I became very task-orientated because I knew what my intent was. My intent was to go and kill myself. I took a swallow's dive off the edge without making a sound. And suddenly I was gone.
Imagine falling 80 meters down a cliff and still surviving the ordeal. Initially you wanted to die. What changed after waking up and opening your eyes and realizing that I'm still alive? What changed inside of you?
The most incredible feeling of relieving all those burdens that I was carrying for 52 years. Ever since a young boy, I just felt that they had been discarded.
You've gone through all of this, now integrating yourself back into the workforce. How was that? How challenging was that for you?
Well, I was away from work for close on 6 months, and I had to reapply for a job, but I made sure that I walked in to that building with my head held up. I was not going to walk in ashamed. I was going to walk into that work, start my life again, and tell my story.
Even after all that, Julian started to rebuild his life again with new hope by accepting his illness, motivating others, and being a better version of himself.
We need to be treated with the same respect and dignity as everyone else. We are normal human beings. There's medication out there that can help you deal with this debilitating illness. And from my side, my life is completely transformed.
Mental illnesses affect a lot of employees, but this fact is often overlooked or ignored in the workplace. But like Julian, you can rise above the situation and overcome it. I'm Refilwe Senatle, Morning Live, Johannesburg.
Dan sal jy aan die kant van Chris Spencer sien. En dit sal die laaste dag wees wat jy welkom is in hierdie familie.
I'm not half as decent as my husband is.
You threatening me?
You cannot tell her. It is